some insistence. Let's start from the left. Yes.
Hi, Tommaso Gallavotti, ADN Kronos, Italy. Just a question, if I may. I've read on the Financial Times that the chief negotiator for the UK for Brexit, Davis, considers that the EBA and the EMA will be part of the negotiations with the EU, and in particular the location of these EU agencies. I wonder if you share his point of view or not. Thank you.
The European Union agencies must be based in the territory of the European Union. The decision to relocate the European Medicines Agency and the European Banking Authority is a decision for the 27 member states to take. It is not part of the Brexit negotiations. It's rather a consequence of Brexit. The United Kingdom is leaving the European Union, and it will have no say in the location of EU agencies. A matter for the negotiations will be the duty for the United Kingdom to facilitate the transfer of these agencies, helping to ease the practical and financial burden for the experts working there who will have to relocate and move to another city within the EU. This is mentioned in the draft guidelines of the European Council. So the Commission calls on quick decision-making as to the transfer, as these two regulatory bodies of the EU must continue to function smoothly and without disruption beyond March 2019. Yes, at the back. Mark, welcome back.
Thanks. Good afternoon. Was it on request of Mr. Juncker or Mrs. May that the negotiations about Brexit are postponed until the elections on the 8th of June?
There was no discussion on postponement of the elections. There said nothing to imply that. In any case, the timing will not change because negotiations were meant to start in June, regardless of the UK decision, of the UK government election decision to call an election on the 8th. As you probably remember, the Commission will present the draft recommendation early May, and then we were expecting a General Affairs Council, I believe, around the 22 of May. So in any case, negotiations would have started in June. So there is no issue of timing or postponement. Anything else? Let's move elsewhere. Quentin.
C'est encore sur le même sujet.
Yes, thank you. Still on the same subject. Given that the British election campaign may talk about the mandate and the Brexit negotiations, I'm thinking in particular of the Commission's priorities on rights of citizens, both British and non-British citizens, also on financial settlements. I know you don't like to touch on that, but these are relevant, and these might have an influence on the position of the British on these issues, which are at the very heart of the negotiations, as you know. So my question is, the European Commission, Mr. Barnier, are they going to think it useful to intervene if these issues really do become part of the campaign debate?
Well,
as we've already said, the election campaign that is going to get started for the elections in the UK is a matter for the British voters. It's a domestic issue. It is not up to us to intervene. We are not going to be campaigning. It is not an election debate in which the Commission will have any role to play. As an institution, we are bound by the political guidelines which the Council will be adopting on the 29th of April, and by the negotiating mandate which will be given to us by the General Affairs Council, as I just said, at the end of May. So that's it. That's the framework within which we are operating. That's what gives us our legitimacy, if you like. That's our mandate. And I certainly do not imagine that the Commission will enter into the campaign or take any sides as part of the British election context. Anything else?
Chapter or something else for today? Yes, Griselda is coming decided for a question.
Merci, Margaritis.
Thank you, Margaritis. You said that there will be no delay in the scheduling of the negotiations, but there is to be a meeting next Sunday to work out the basis for those negotiations. So what will happen between the 29th of April and the British elections? Well, I can repeat the sequence of events which you may have missed. We'll have the European Summit to approve the guidelines, the draft of which you will have seen, and which, if everything goes well, will be adopted on the Saturday, not Sunday, but Saturday, the 29th of April. So another Brussels weekend for all of us. And then the Commission will adopt the draft recommendation of the mandate. That's scheduled for early May, the 3rd of May, perhaps. And then there'll be a General Affairs Council meeting, probably on the 22nd, but I cannot be sure of that. But anyway, towards the end of May, which will approve that draft recommendation proposed to it by the Commission. Then, on the 8th of June, there will be the general election in the UK. There will be a government emerging from that, and negotiations will then start in the course of the month of June. That's how we see things panning out from here.
Okay, Athanasios.